Greg, are you talking? I don't hear you.
Yes, I am. I'm started to. Can you hear me now?
Yes, thanks.
All right. I'm just connecting to YouTube, so the YouTubers.
All right, cool. Just want to make sure.
I'm just connecting to you. Okay, so there's the big story of the day, right? Apple, big deal, Apple. 175, gapping up above the gap, up toward the next gap, up to the top of the range. So nice size gap, but in the context of this sideways trend, it didn't clear the trend, so no big deal. You know, big gaps, clear resistance or clear support. And it's at the topper part. That means the sellers should show up relatively soon up there. So this is what we want. We want to see. We want, all the good earnings. Whether it was Google, Goldman, JP, whatever. Gap up and crap. So I don't know. We don't want to make decisions, based on that and assume the same thing happens. But let's see if the same thing happens. It's a nice size gap. What it needs to do is gap and run, or gap and chop around for a half hour and go. So we have to see if that's what's going to play out. I'm thinking a gap up into this area. People that bought it yesterday probably want to sell it. Somebody's going to want to sell it. So let's take a look at and see how much they actually show up and sell. Snap is down almost $3. This is getting crushed. And, I always think, here's another internet company like a Twitter. Is it going to go to zero, or is this thing going to find its way to make some money at some point? Right now, it just looks terrible. But I'll keep an eye on it during the day, just partly out of curiosity, seeing if it can turn around. And so I've got, I guess that low there is 1150, and it's trading at 1140. So it's trading below that low down there. Could be short bait in the next couple of weeks or months. We'll see. Interested. ESPR, nasty gap down, 47.50. And 47.50. Boy.
It says it right in the title. Bio.
Gapping down onto support. Well, I'm going to watch that one because, that is a big gap. A lot of times they'll go lower. We'll see. We'll let it trade for 20, 30 minutes or so. We'll see what happens. We're not afraid of the bios, Dan, after they report their earnings in there. I mean, hey, this thing can come out and say, hey, forget about our earnings. We just discovered the cure for the common cold, and it's up. That's unlikely. So could be short bait today. What else is moving here? Gilead down almost 4. At least it's coming out of a base. That's interesting. 69. That's actually a good one. So it's not gapping down from a large green bar, but it's a small green bar, and it's a base. And it was consolidating, was trying to go up at the end of the day, and it's gapping down. So that one will go on the gap list. Is there anything to stop it? And that's what we want to look for. No, it's got a void here. So Gilead, yeah. You were talking about this one, Dan, for a while. Shutterfly, $90. That's not too big of a gap, and it's coming out of a base. Maybe.
Yep, 30-minute pullback would be ideal, or double bottom. Yep, we'll watch it.
Tesla reports tonight, I think. I don't think we're going to mess with that. What else is on the list? Home Depot down $1. I don't think that's a big deal. Probably buyable. Keep an eye on it. AVGO. It's kind of messy. Isn't somebody buying this? Or they're buying somebody?
They've been in buyout talks for a while. That's from an international company, so regulatory issues.
I don't want to. Google gapping down too. Not a big deal. EL. That looks like trouble.
Yep, that's a favorite of mine today. And yeah, Tesla is after the bell.
Intel, no biggie. And let's see. Let's look at trade rate. Most of the time, it's going to be the same stuff. And what time is it now? We're good. We're good. This grub keeps coming up, but it's pretty darn sloppy. I think I put a call spread on that, Dan, if it made sense. It's so sloppy. I can't imagine it getting back over 105.
Yeah, we'll try. It's very illiquid is one problem, but yeah, we'll watch it.
And a lot of smaller gaps. Let's look at percentage. Percent gainers and losers. CHK. 3. Could be of interest. Jot it down. GE up a nickel. Why would that be in a percentage gainer? Jeez. MA up $8. It's a nice gap. Let's look at losers.
And well, and check out Visa. I mean, it's kind of flat, but it could be a nice following the MA strength.
Nice daily pattern.
Right.
Not doing much. What does it report? 719. Earnings are not a problem. All right, let's see what the broader markets are doing here. I don't see anything else here that stocks anyway, but we'll find more at the open. So S&Ps here have this look of like, okay, they can go. Apple earnings have done nothing to get the S&Ps showing any strength. They haven't even taken out that bottoming tail bars high. If I was long overnight with this, I'd be a little disappointed. I wouldn't think about running out of it. However, I would be a little concerned if it broke below here. If it went below that area and now, right above there, opens up the door to a nice little pop, at least up, to that topping tail, but that could just be a stall point. And you got the 50 MA there. That is definitely going to come into play. So we'll see about that. YM, So far, we got down toward the bottom of that weekly bottoming tail. Buyers came in. Inside day so far. No happiness here. Look at the 5 minute, little sell off, but overall on the 60, you know, not a big deal. Should be 24 hours, sure. Yeah. Okay. So we've got more resistance than support here. So when it stalled and went down, retraced down, down. So it's getting tighter, getting tighter. We got another kind of a bullish to neutral type of open here so far. Buyers not so aggressive, absolutely, but that doesn't mean that won't change in a half hour. So we'll see what's happening with that. And oil pulling in a little bit. That should be good for our Oxy, which, Dan, we have to keep in mind that's going to report earnings on the 8th. Need to be out of town before that happens with that.
Shoot.
Gold.
Yeah, we have May 11th. Shoot, I didn't know that. All right. Yeah, we're going to, okay.
So 200 MA stall there. And IMD yesterday. That looks good. Kind of all the same thing. I think we're going to sit back here and give things 5 minutes at a minimum and maybe 30 minutes, and we will see how things shape up from there. Bonds, just kind of holding neutral here. Had to look like kind of roll over, but maybe makes a little mini measured move up into the 50 and the 20 and that minor resistance there. So we shall see. I will send an alert to see if they are going to go off up there. Well, that I got a little list here that I have to set up over here in my little group. I'll leave it for you, Dan.
All right, thank you. I'm just updating the spreadsheet here on this earnings on Oxy. And yeah, I was looking at our open positions. We'll do that real quick, but there's really no comment at all on our opens. We don't have that many actually. And then I'll look at a couple more gap plays. All right, the spreadsheet is updated. Halliburton is fine. We have a covered call. A great cost basis. Stop under this low. Same with XLE. It's fine. STZ, we have a put spread in the advisory letter 3 weeks away, way down here. Unfortunately, the weekly one got stopped out in this deep retracement because we have a tighter stop and a tighter strike price. Intel, we sold some puts into the afternoon strength. UPS is flat. We have a just a weekly swing trade on a bullish 1, 2, 3. Oxy, it looks like, I mean, I see one print down 28 cents, but when you have light volume, it's hard to tell. Let's look at a bunch of these earnings trades, and I'll try to ignore the ones that Greg went over. ESPR 47. Oh, that's the one he mentioned. Okay. UNM down to 44. Very bearish gap. I have to go all the way to my weekly over here to see where 44 is because it's nowhere near. It was trying to get his C legs back, but just couldn't do it. It's a big bearish gap, but we'll keep an eye on it. Yum. Big bearish gap. 83.41, so that's about right here on the 50 MA. It's very sloppily traded stock, so I'm not going to be focusing on it at the open. WYN, very light volume. I can't tell where it's trading. W, nice pre-market volume. See, all I'm looking for is these bars to be solid and moving around and having a pattern, not just little dots. So this one's 71 bucks, which is, you know, this was a breakout failure, breakdown. Now we're gapping butt. We're in just a sideways range here. There's no pattern, but if it can give us a high range base and take out a 30-minute high, then you have a price void if it can get through this prior pivot. TEX is a mess, gapped up, came down, it's flat, bearish daily. Soda, gap down, went up, now it looks relatively, well, it's up a buck and change. It's still in an uptrend, all time frames, but this is very sloppy. SO, I can't tell where it's gapping. Norwegian, there's a print there, almost 55 bucks, but it's right smack in the middle of this range. I'm just going to delete him because those right in the middle of the range, I have no interest in. MSG, can't tell where it's gapping, but I'm going to set an alert here for 245 or maybe 246. If it can, you know, here was a breakdown bar, right? That closed under support, but it's a bullish monthly. It's consolidating on the weekly in an uptrend. And remember the fib retracements. I don't need a tool, but just eyeball it from this low to this high to here is what? It's roughly a third. That's all I care about. So it's still, even though it's a red bar, it's a bullish consolidation. So if this can get over here, then I like it a lot. So let me set an alarm for 245.50. All right, that's done. Yeah, this Estee Lauder that Craig mentioned, I liked. I liked it earlier when it was at like 144. I put it in a thumbnail as being a tier 1 trade. Look at the close. Solid uptrend. Look at this. Rising 20, rising 50. Equal space in between. Just using these MAs, that is a powerful uptrend. Now I have a lower low. I have 2 lower lows. I have a lower high. And even though I don't have a pivot yet, it's bearish. It's rolling over. Look at pick up in volume. So it looks like somebody knew something ahead of earnings and is profiting on that inside information. Whoops, I didn't say that. On their speculation. Now, but it's to 138. So it's getting excessive now. So it's, you know, not a tier 1 for me again because the big gaps are just harder to trade. I just did a lesson. I'm going to post it on our Facebook group. I did a little lesson just looking at pro gaps from consolidation. This was one we were looking at yesterday. Bullish 5-minute entry, 5, 10, 15-minute entry, huge volume. These are the ones I just love. Gapping from consolidation. Look at this, flat 20, 50, price void above on the daily, weekly, monthly. So I'll post that when I'm done. Let's continue. MA, we looked at Hum. Hum is doing nothing, bouncing around, sloppy, no pattern. I don't know. I'll look at him one more time in 30 minutes, and if there's nothing there, I'm going to delete him. Garmin, 61.25. This one I like. Look, this was a mess. I mean, it's still a mess, so it would only be a put play, but look, 61.25. Look where it's gapping. So it's clearing this pivot, it's clearing this pivot, and I know it's not clean, but a 30-minute high is a great put spread candidate. The weekly, I have a bottoming tail here, and that's going to be, all this is going to be support now. ENR, I can't tell what it's doing. Estee Lauder, we just looked at. CHK, Greg mentioned this one. Yep, I had it too. I mean, it's kind of a bottom fishing play, and you know, you're playing a small stock. It could go up to 380, declining 200, but it has to get through this mess. I'm not going to mess with that myself. CDW, I can't tell where it's trading, but if it opens flat, then a 30-minute high is the trade there, both for a day trade and put spread. BG, bearish close under support, but it's gapping up. And it's gapping a 74, which is roughly right there at the 20 MA, but it's in the middle. It's in the middle of this mess. I'll look at it at 10 a.m. just to see what it looks like. EIX, 64 bucks, way down here. Support, resistance. Not interested. TAP, bearish downtrend, daily, weekly. Look at these railroad track declining on the weekly. And now it's gapping to 68 bucks, which is under all of this. I like that one. So I'm going to put that in the thumbnail. CVS, it was strong. Look at this pre-market, and maybe it's that conference call again. It was a sell setup though on the weekly chart. Now it's 67.50, which is right in here. Nothing to do. We'll look at it at 10 a.m. WU, I can't tell where you're at. SU, I can't tell. This one's garbage. Gap down yesterday at 710, relatively flat. NBR, I'm deleting you. Mondelez, looks like you're flat. You're in a downtrend on the daily and weekly, breaking down from a multi-year trading range on the monthly. You know, we'll look at it at 10 a.m. Juniper, very sloppy. Wow. For those of you who traded in the internet days, the late 90s, like Greg and I did, this was a go-to. Juniper Networks. 2682 though, it's way up here. Well, look, right here to the 200. The 200 is 2684. So it's gapping right there. No pattern to me whatsoever. No pattern. It's a pro gap, but just because something's a pro gap doesn't mean it's tradable. That's just step one. Step two is the, you know, is Greg's advanced gap strategy trading course is, you know, he has a nice 7-step program, and I just kind of internalize all those steps in my head, and that's the unconscious competence level. But if you're just learning gaps, you got to pull out that checklist and go through it slowly, and that's the conscious competence level. It's not unconscious. You got to think about it. You got to pull out your checklist and go through one by one and say, I get it now. And then you do, you know, 1, 2, 300 of those, and then you can speed up your analysis like I'm doing. You see how fast I'm going through these. So it's a pro gap, but I don't know what it's going to do. Is it going to get sold into at the 200 on the open, right in the, you know, the gap area also? Guild we looked at. FTR. It's garbage, but while it's gapping to 873, it's here. What interests me on this is the weekly. Look at the weekly. Could this be a multi-month base? Look, it's now above the flat 20 MA. If this can get over $9, look at this thing. It broke down at $65 and went to $7. this could, you know, you hear me saying, hey, we're getting in on the basement floor. If we get in at low levels, our reward to risk is monstrous. So I'm just going to put that in a separate minder, just so I keep an eye on it. Devon, 37.65, so it's gapping up. This one looks higher. You got a price for it. I like Devon. Denny's, no trade. Look at all these spots. It looks like it's gapping a lot lower here, maybe to 16. Nothing to do now. CHRW is gapping down, 84.50. Wow, it's gapping under here. That's a nasty gap. And it has room to go, you know, to 80. I'm going to watch that one. CHRW. APC, we're almost done. Perfect timing. APC, it's slopping around. It's junk. There's better. I'm going to get rid of you, Allstate. You're junk. But we'll look at them on 30 minutes and or just set an alarm, you know, somewhere near the high of this is 99.10. Set an alarm at 99.50. If it can get through there, then it could chug deeper into here. Nano, I don't like the way it trades, and there's no imminent pattern for me. Snap, like we said, looks like it's going out of business. Surefly is holding strong here. Remember yesterday we said, I said this pop is 99% chance of news. I didn't look it up. I don't know what the news is. But now this is bullish consolidation in the upper part of this wide range bar. And it's gap, and it's a gap breakout to all-time highs. The only problem is, for me, it's gapping up $8. So is that excessive? So I'm not going to rush into it, but yes, I'm going to watch that. Now see, this is, well, that's a 15-minute chart. Let me put it to a 5. Even the 5 is bullish here. It depends how aggressive you are, and I can't answer that, but our rule is do not trade for 5 minutes. But to have a gap this big and it to be holding this strong and for there to be buying right at the open, it's strong. You can't deny that. Apple is getting sold into here at the open, see? Just like Amazon did on its earnings day. Remember, Amazon gapped up 157 points and it got met with selling. But you can't react to say, oh, they're selling at the open, because that could be just the people who bought into the afternoon rally yesterday. Well, I'm going to go back to the 15. And I'm going to get, well, I'll leave my pre-market data until about 30 minutes. So Apple had a nice run into the close, and this could just be some of those people taking their money. But look, now it's a little bottoming tail on the daily, and it could just go deeper into this gap fill or prior high. I have no idea. Estee Lauder there. We need a bounce. Nothing to do now. Tap. Here's pre-market. It looks like it's not moving right now, so maybe the specialist is still sleeping. The Guild, bearish gap. Target, you know, this prior low, 65 bucks. Let's see if this can go sideways and not bounce, and then we'll look for an intraday entry. Spiders, 15 minutes still coming in. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of this pre-market data. There, that's cleaner. So rallied into the close to resistance. Now it's an inside bar. Qs, gap and crap. more extended at resistance. Diamond inside bar, but was weaker than the others, as we talked about. It could not get deep into this resistance, and it actually took out these prior lows on the daily. So diamonds have been weaker. IWM is holding. Here's our Oxy. Well, Oxy's holding, which, of course, we want to just go lower. We got a put spread on AEP. I'm just looking at earnings again. I mean, stocks we're in. We got into this XRT for a longer term trade. MSG is okay, breaking down now. So, you know, a consolidation like this, wait 30 minutes. If it breaks down, well, then this is resistance, and you sell a call spread. If it breaks up, then it's support, and you sell a put spread. DBN, nice pro gap. Let's just watch it for a setup because it has room. DBN. CHRW was a very bearish gap from a double top breakdown. Green now, rising 200. No reason to rush into it. Sectors, here's transport still lagging. Look at the daily. We're at the bottom end of this consolidation. There's FedEx breaking down. That's not good news for our UPS swing trade, but we have a tight stop on it. And unlucky for us, you know, we don't trade anything. The entry on the 1, 2, 3 was over the high of these two bars, and we don't, and it gapped up a little bit, and then that makes us trade the 5-minute high, and it hit the 5-minute high like within a nickel. And, you know, rules are rules, so we're in it. But we were 5 cents away of it not triggering.
Okay, nice shut fly. Going lower with Qs, but that's more of a bullish setup. If it tanks, I'm going to miss it. But I looked at it from a long, so if this 2-minute can turn into a breakdown failure, we're going to buy that above 90.75, which is today's open. And ESPR, I was looking lower, but it's bouncing here a little bit, so I'm going to let that bounce to wherever it's going to bounce to. Just watching it. CHKP, it's gapped up. It's been basing on the daily. Let's see if it.
Wait. Basing on the daily. What are you talking about? Do you want to take the screen?
No.
But this is not basing on the daily. That's why
CHKP. You don't see it basing on the daily?
Well, you see my chart. Is this the right symbol? I'm not sure I hear the right symbol every time.
I scrunched this up so small to kind of like, no, it doesn't look like the right symbol.
Right. That's why I'm asking.
CH, not P, CHK.
Okay. See?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big old sideways consolidation, but you got the 20 and 50 merged on top of each other.
I'd like to see it poke down to $3 and turn back around.
Here's this tap that we were looking at. Look, so bearish gap down, and it's just a matter. Well, that's 2 minute. It's just a function of how. Right. I'm saying this could have been a 5-minute low, and then. So let me ask Greg your opinion. So when you set stops on something aggressive like this, do you put the stop on the day's high, or just to avoid getting shaken out, if it does happen to, take it out, would you let it pivot and then put your stop over the pivot, or this is going to work or not work and the stop's 5-minute high?
I would be using the 2 minute initially, and I would give it a little bit more room above the day's high, but I wouldn't, because that could go, I would kill it if it went past my space above the day's high and then reevaluate it. He was still coming in. So ESPR made a new high on the day, nasty gap down. Right, you've got a 2-minute green bar. It's consolidating at the top. What we want to see is it not go up very far and get whacked back down under today's open, which is 46.55. I was tempted to short Apple as it's come in here, but I don't want to engage in that fight. So there's a bottoming tail on S-Fly, but it's not moving up above that 90.75 level.
And I'm going to check, puts just to see if there's anything interesting there.
Home Depot's acting pretty well here. Dip down. May actually buy that. I'd like to see it go sideways here, up at its resistance.
Look at that tap. So now you would be in trade management mode, stop, break even, trailing profits, half over, whatever bar's high, 2 or 5, and then using your trade management for the back half. So that's the Q's 5-minute. So now we're under the closing price, as you can obviously see by the red candlestick body. Let's see, MA was a pro gap coming in. Now see, because of the topping tail and kind of velocity in which it's coming in, let's see, you also got to determine what time frame you're looking at. So 5-minute chart, I personally, I wouldn't buy it over prior bar's high just because it's not coming in as clean as I want. Instead, I'd want a double bottom on the 5-minute chart.
Guys, S-Fly is a go here. I said above 90.75, so it's at 91.20 already. I mean, if you got it at 80 or 90, whatever. This is definitely a day trade, and probably, hopefully, get paid within a half hour or less, whatever.
And so the Visa did nothing with the...
There's no resistance, so that's good. Just the market is a little bit of a concern, but it's showing relative strength.
Look at this nasty gap down, UNW. Now, if it took out the day's low right now, I mean, the monthly's coming in to this minor support, but if this took out the day's low and didn't retreat, didn't go up anymore, you could short the low, stop high. UNM. APC, we said was nothing, but it had a, topping tail. Here, I'll just go over here. BG, see it's junk. It gapped to resistance, it's coming in. CDW, wow, would I have predicted that? Heck no. Look at that gap and go. It gapped to resistance and it's just plowing through resistance to all-time highs. Weekly, monthly. So that you would watch on a controlled pullback on the 5-minute chart. WU, it broke out, but resistance to the left. I have no interest. SU, no interest. Mondelez, junk, Juniper. See, remember our discussion? Gapping right to the 200 resistance. Is it going to get sold into despite it being a pro gap? And there's your answer. The Guild was a bearish gap. 2 red bars and a green. If it can bounce and make a lower high, then you can short it under that prior 5-minute bars low if it makes a lower high.
I'm trying to type here. I'm just saying sell half of this. 92.68. A nice gain in a couple of minutes.
Yep.
Stop. Stop on the back half. Let me just open this chart. Tough getting stops when something goes momentum. Sometimes I'll even go down to a 30-second chart because I want to protect that. But let's do 91.88. Locks in a gain of almost $1. Q's turning around in the gap fill.
Wow, look at this tap. Look at that. Solid. Every 2-minute bar is red. Every single one. That's steady selling right now. That was a nice setup. It's just, again, a matter of how aggressive you want to be on getting on. But even a 5-minute low would have been perfect. Here's bank. Look here, folks. Remember we talked about this weekly FTR, if it could get through this. So now let's see if we can get a controlled 5-minute pullback. Look, this is the place to get on board. Man, look at this.
Guys, that's it. Out.
Look at this volume on this ugly red bar that didn't go down anymore. And there's actually good juice. The $9 puts for May, 35 cents. I'm going to do the 9 here. I'm going to tell you when, but I'm going to sell the May 9-7 put spread. Midpoint is 35 cents right now, which would give us a basis of $8.65, but I'm just going to load it up. I want to see a controlled pullback here and then over a prior 5-minute bars high. And you know the drill. I don't want it to retrace more than 50%. And I'm just going to load it up for the subscribers.
Home Depot.
Yeah, I think we're ready for a, you know, if you want stock in addition to another put play, we got out of our puts at 5 cents.
there's a put spread available. I mean, even a debit spread on this, I'm fine with it. I mean, I think it might need a little time. It's consolidating at that resistance there from February, but it looks great.
Yeah, I'm typing this thing up, so I'm not looking. Give me a second.
GHK not doing anything, sloppy. Square is holding up nicely, folks. 5-minute chart, consolidating at the top of a wide range bar above today's open and yesterday's close. It's got a daily pattern. I could, had a little downside to the shake and it popped back up, going sideways there. And let's check earnings. Yesterday? What's today? Today. Maybe they're coming after the close.
All right, I have FTR lined up, so I'm watching it.
Anybody do S-Fly? I try to explain the pattern and what was happening and give you enough lead time to understand it. I know you have to make your own decision. If you didn't, you should print it out. You need to build a library of patterns, understanding what they communicate.
Home Depot is May 15. I got excited about the May 18 juicy puts, but that's why. Still, we could do, now that we have this, well, that's a 5-minute chart. Let me look at hourly even. So we have a nice support here at 180, 180, 150 to 182. We could do the 180 puts. 180, 175 is 50 cents. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Do it.
9 days of, so yeah, it's 9 days.
It's good.
Agree. Writing it up.
Apple is up against today's open, trying to knock on the door. New high on the day.
All right, this FTR, it was 35-cent midpoint a minute ago, and now it's only 30, so it's kind of bouncing around here. Let's try just to get our 35. Well, I don't know. I could use a few more minutes to get some confidence, or I can start scaling into it at 35, which I probably won't get filled unless it drops a few pennies.
Market's indecisive here. It doesn't. Q's hanging at the near the high of the day. I don't know if it's going to double top or blast through. And Q's spiders are hanging near the low of the day. Really kind of flatlining here.
Well, diamonds are making a new low right now.
Yeah, mark is okay. It's a little whippy. A 5. Had a nice day yesterday, so let's see if it can.
Look at Apple back to the high, Facebook on a tear. So, those two alone are helping the Qs, of course. Netflix over the week's high is a put spread candidate. Look at that, rising 20, rising 50, bottoming tail, and consolidation. It's not bad at all. Well, let me check earnings and see what we can get paid for Friday. Yeah, it's gone. April 16th, so we're fine. So under support, you can just see it right here. Let's either 310 or 307.50. They're very juicy, my God. Wow, we can do. Wow, Greg, we can get $1 for the 305, 295 for Friday. Netflix.
It's a pretty tight little spot there. I mean, that could. I don't know what's going to move it, but the market gave it up. That'll hit 305 in a blink of an eye. It started to break down, that is.
Right. I wouldn't touch it, like I said, unless it took out the high here, and obviously not if the market is tizzing around, but I'll watch it.
I wouldn't want. Just set an alert just above yesterday's low and forget about it. And I guess above that topping tail from 2 days ago.
Yep. Look at this tap. Wow. All right, FTR, I'm still watching. And it's holding, so I'm going to post that for 30 cents as opposed to the 35.
as I'm watching these spiders here, Qs are acting better because they have Apple, of course. But I like the spiders here with those retest of the bottoming tail bar. It's not perfect, and it's got that little red bar above and the 50 MA, hovering up there. But if this is the spot where maybe this is going to be able to launch through that area over the coming days, I'm going to want to enter this if it can push through today's open, which is 264.76. Because this right now, as this is developing on the 5-minute, it may turn out to be a breakdown failure. See the red bar, right, just before this green one broke down under the lows, and then the green reversed it. And, some assumptions here being that buyers step up and this holds up, assuming a good close, hold it. Everybody see what I'm talking about?
That's 5-minute upper left. I got an M. I got an MS.
And spread it out a little. All that data. No, the other way. Yeah. All that data to the left is like of no significance.
Yeah, I guess MSG alarm. Still not ready, but look, the breakdown is failing, and we talked about this pre-market, weekly, daily, monthly. Ideally, I would like it to plow through resistance and then get an intraday pullback. But Spider's expiring today, so if this trade works out the way Greg's talking about it, I'm checking out. This is not bad at all. Let's see, the low of the day, 264. The 263.5 puts right now 32 cents. And all you're doing is calling a bottom, and you have 50 cents more cushion. And that's $320 on the 10 lot. And IWM is new high. Yep, this looks good now. So I'm gonna nibble. I'm not gonna post it right now, but I'm gonna nibble. Only nibble.
To the dining table, Dan.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna wait.
No, wait.
Well, here I'm gonna watch on a 2-minute chart with the other indices on my other computer.
All right.
IWM is good. Diamonds is, he's weaker. I just want to see what it does here at these tails.
Okay.
And then I'm actually going to do the 263s, which is $1 under the low, and they're 23 cents. It's $230 on a 10 lot. Qs, IWM. All right, there she goes. I'm going in. And it just dropped a penny.
Dan, thought as far as posting some of this stuff into Telegram for people, even for the emails.
Say again, even for what emails?
Even for the email, meaning the typing takes some time. You're a super fast typer, but I don't know if it's faster for you to just bring up Snagit and show the chart and talk about hey, this is the trade, yada, 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 whatever, this strike, whatever.
Right.
You save it, drop the link into Telegram, and drop the link and email it. And you can follow up later with some text, you know, but I mean, they have the trade. I don't know if that's a better vehicle for sending it.
Well,
that's faster.
Right. There's pros and cons. No, it's not going to be faster because all I'm doing is typing 2 sentences, and that's easy. And I'm, loaded up many times. And then they have to open it and watch the link, and then it would be more educational because then I'm talking my way through it and this and that. But no, it would not be quicker. But we can experiment, and it also depends on how much of a rush we're in to get in the trade.
Well, most things we do aren't necessarily really a rush, but I hear you. I think those type of things are something that people would appreciate, since they're, in the moment to see the chart and a little couple of comments. That platform just makes it so easy.
Right. CVS earnings is coming in. Nothing. The Guild was a bearish gap, but now there's no great entry right here. It's built support over time. At FTR. Devon, see, I didn't like this with a deep retracement, but now it's back to the high. Price void. Estee Lauder has a bottoming tail now. See, if I were to trade something that, with what I perceive to be a big gap, I would just trade it intraday because I don't know when it's going to get cheap enough for the buyers to step up. This soda, it didn't have its earnings, and I was saying pre-market I couldn't tell, there was not enough volume, but that was a bearish gap down. But now it's basing at the high, so no trade. I'm just going through these gaps again on the other computer. W, we said, was a bullish gap. Okay, but look, now, I mean, there's this resistance here, but now you kind of have a W bottom. So if the daily was compelling enough, this would be your entry right there. Buy over this 5-minute bars high. A tight stop is under this doji or the day's low, but I don't like this prior 2-bar reversal right there. That's why I wouldn't do it. This MSG that I told you about, my alarm went off up here, but now look at the retracement again. So I'm done with you. I mean, that's the way this dog runs. Look at all these tails. So I'm deleting it. I have no interest anymore. MA, nothing, it's neutral, still bullish, weekly, monthly, bullish gap, but I mean, the entry here would be over this bar. as of now over 186. If it could get through that, then you got daily, weekly, and monthly in alignment. So I'm going to set an alarm there. Well, I'm going to set an alarm over this high bar. So you don't have to be exact. I'm just going to set it at 185.60. Wow, look at Facebook ripping. And look at this. Look at this THC from yesterday. Oh, man. That, you know, I call it a scrapbook. Greg calls it a diary, whatever he said. That was a pro gap. It was a pro gap over consolidation with a beautiful 5-minute entry yesterday. That's a 15-minute bar. So even over 15-minute high. CMI from yesterday, I still had in my window as a pro gap down. You know, a gap down again near the low, and now it's chugging its way up, but under
Guys,
today's
buy Home Depot 184.99 half lot. Going to give it some room below today's low. Half lot. You can even get it here at 92 or 88 if you're getting ready to press the button. But we're going to give it room down below 183.75. So share size it accordingly. If this was a much more bullish pattern, a shallower retracement, I'd put the stop under 184.49, but it's not. I could imagine it breaking that and turning it and getting it turned around.
Greg, remember we've been watching this one for a week or so?
Which?
On the screen, GLNG.
Okay.
Maybe tonight over today's high? Or just
earnings? I actually got an alert on it, GLNG.
And folks, what we like is this monthly.
It's reporting on the 30th.
Right. So I could swing trade.
I'm fine with it.
Let's see. Hector's asking about XOP. Yeah, that looks great, Hector. I mean, it had this rally. It's at a prior high on the weekly, but it's consolidating through time in an uptrend, rising 20, 50, 200. It looks great. You know, a little extended on the 15, so it's just a matter of where your entry and stop is. But it's acting very well. It's better than our XLE. I mean, we're in HAL, that's fine. See, this HAL and XLE are just fantastic trades with our covered calls because we're making money while they're chopping around going sideways. OIH has been lagging also. USO is the oil ETF. Hector, you picked the best one. It looks great. So it's just a matter of timing your entry. Is it a day swing to you? And where your entry and stop is. But I like it. I'll watch it into the close. And is it a stock or option trade to you, an income or directional? And then I can add any more comments. The 38.50 puts for next week which is right there, is a 32 cents, which is almost my 1%. This Garmin we had as a pro gap this morning, remember? But it wasn't a tier 1 just because of this prior high, and the 15-minute chart is still totally neutral. I'm just cleaning out my gap list here. This Mondelez was whippy in the morning. See, that's why you have to be careful on where your initial stop is and how you're using the intraday charts to get on board. Because this would have taken you for a wild ride. Even on the 5-minute. Well, that was the first 5-minute bars. Actually, there's no entry here on the 5-minute. Maybe it's getting close though. Under this tail, under 38, 664, which is only a dime away. This is a bearish daily, weekly, monthly. Nothing wrong with that trade. And then you could, actually put, once it makes a new low, I would put my stop under this doji bar right there. 39.06, which is not that far away. Surefly, look, consolidating on a 5-minute chart and giving you another entry. Look at that. Right there is your another entry. Right over the high of these 3 bars. Let me microscope it on a 2-minute. Look at that. It came down back to the high. This is a small reverse head and shoulders with a breakout right now to new highs. It looks great. I see this Devon making a new high. Our FTR, nice entry. This Triple L I've been watching. Oh, that's Lumber Liquidator. Look. Now look, folks, this tell me what you think of that 15-minute chart. Upper left. Pro gap down yesterday, wide range igniting. This entire consolidation, I mean, you could count how many 15-minute bars that is, but it's all of yesterday, less first 15 minutes, and then add today's hour. So that's 7.25 hours of bearish consolidation in the lower part of this bearish range expansion bar. This looks like a short under the low. Relative weakness to the market. You could have a tight stop at today's high, or a tad bit wider over 2028. A little bit wider is over that one. And there's no way I would sit through, if it negated all of yesterday's day. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing it now, in my opinion, under the low, or I would like it. It'll be a no-brainer short after 2 p.m. if it continues to go in a coma. It'll be not only a no-brainer day trade short, but you can hold it overnight with the same tight stop. but this triple L, climactic buy setup, small bullish gap here, which you can see on the 15-minute chart, came in, still sloppy as can be. You know, downtrend on the daily and weekly, but look at this huge volume the last 2 days. It's starting to stabilize. If it can chop around and go sideways through lunch, let me see if we can get paid for a Friday put spread. But they don't have Fridays. We'd have to go all the way out to May, which, I mean, even if it's a swing trade, you know the drill. Even though we're selling a May, which is 16 days, we could still swing trade it, whether that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars, and still be a very profitable trade.
Guys, I threw a poll up there. I think you can do multiple choice, but trying to get an idea of your particular interests and types of trades. Resend it? I don't know if I can resend it.
Well, let's just read it. I'll read it to him, and then Dan, you can just answer. What type of trade do you mostly do? Credit spreads, directional option trades, swing trades, stocks and ETFs, day trade stocks. I'll trade anything in any way, compelling pattern. Oh, well, Dan deleted it. If the others can use the poll, we would appreciate it.
And maybe I can do it again. Hold on.
IWM here still chugging up.
All right, don't delete it. Home Depot's starting to percolate a little bit. Spiders couldn't get through that opening level. Have some holdouts, they just won't vote. So primarily options trades. You don't get a real distinction, Dan, between credit spreads and directional option trades. But I guess, well, there goes credits kind of leading out. So Dan, we have to figure out a way to trade my day trades with options.
Well, we can, as long as it's liquid. And the spiders are liquid.
Yeah. What do you think would have happened? I can't imagine that S-Fly would have worked out.
No way. No way. On an earnings stock, high volatile. I already checked to sell put spreads and they were crazy. No. So that's a definite no.
And that would have had to have been a directional, not a put spread. I mean, that was, two plus bucks in, a couple of minutes.
No. I get it. I'm just answering your question that there's no way we could have bought calls on it. The spreads were preposterous.
So, an at the money call to buy something like that, an at the money call or in the money call, doesn't it have to be priced accordingly?
Yeah, to screw you, absolutely. No, you cannot buy options on earning stocks. Maybe you could on Apple after it settles down for an hour. The Apple, Facebook, the real liquid ones, and spiders, of course. But no, you're going to be playing those spreads. It has to be liquid as can be to day trade options.
Spiders back down to the low of the day. They could not get through the wall of the opening price.
Yeah, but I bailed on my puts for a $50 loss, 5 cents.
Those two reference points are good references in a stock or the Qs or spiders to know the opening price and yesterday's close. And my minder, if you see my minder, says symbol, close, the last, change from yesterday, change from open. And, it's just a quick way of going through whatever is in your interest list of saying, hey, what's strong and what's weak. If you got two red columns, those are typically the dogs, right? They're below yesterday's close and yesterday's open. Two green columns, they're doing better. Maybe they're doing great. Above yesterday's close and above yesterday's open. Even, if they gapped, they could be above yesterday's close, but trading below the opening gap. So, green and red. Okay. So we do have a few day traders, and I think we'll get a few more. When Dan and I started Master Trader, Dan was able to put together the options course, and credit spreads are certainly something that a lot of people are interested in. And we weren't ready. Really, at the beginning, we didn't even want to think about a chat room. It wasn't in our immediate thoughts of doing that. So, day trading wasn't going to be it. And we had a lot of work to do, preparing courses and even the back end of the site and the management software and all that. So, the initial attraction was definitely those that are interested in options trading, and that's a big pool of traders because a lot of them like to trade options because of the leverage. The next course, the course that I'm working on right now, MTS is a big course that's covering everything. Not everybody wants to know about everything there is to know. So I'm putting together a day trading, prop trading type of course. And not that we're bringing on prop traders, but it's just to use that name for people that are interested in prop, that are going to be day traders, that want to learn day trading and how to do it the right way. Not by focusing on, tape reading and generating a ton of commissions for the guy bringing them on. And most of these prop firms, mean, some of the real ones, I would say real, which I don't call them retail, right? The retail ones, their only real interest is commissions, right? Where they talk about they'll split profits, you know, 90-10 or 80-20 or whatever it might be. It's all BS. If they get a guy that can make money, that's icing on the cake. We got one swing trader in the group, whoever that might be. When this market comes out of its coma, we're going to have a lot of swing trades. I don't know where this Home Depot is going to end at by the end of the day, but this may turn out to be a swing trade. Maybe, into the end of the week. We'll see. We got in at the perfect spot. Look at the 2-minute chart. You see that bottoming tail down there, poking under yesterday's close. Tim mentioning, I guess that was a little early, 10:30 maybe. Tim was mentioning oil inventory numbers. Crude oil. It's just chopping sideways on the daily chart. Had a down day yesterday. I guess on that number 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, it whipped to the downside and came back up. It's pretty kind of whippy here. Tails. Going to take more than that to get the oil bulls to run. LLL climactic. Daily climactic, Alexander. Someone on YouTube. Daily's climactic. So that's a good setup, Alexander, to put on a watch list. But wide range bar igniting a move to the downside. And then a week or so later, wide range bar on volume ending today inside day and just consolidating now on the 5-minute. You could wait to see if it holds the inside day, do it for a swing trade tomorrow. But if the markets get turned around, you could do this for a day trade at the appropriate time. Right now it seems a little deadish. It hasn't been able to get above today's open. Home Depot coming up to the high of the day. There's the triple L. That should be it there. That was being asked about on YouTube. So vertical blast right through the 200 MA. Is there any support? There's some little shelf down there, little swing. And it's just chopping around here. So far, it is just hanging there near the opening price. Here's Home Depot, folks. Right? Pullback right down, pokes down through yesterday's close. Look at it on the 2-minute. Well, you can actually see it on the 2-minute here. This is what I was referring to when I mentioned it. That that little guy there. Well, that was our entry, right, as it poked up in there. Right there. And now we're up near the high of the day, and we have to hope it can keep going. Be nice if the market could find some legs here. But the market's in a bit of a holding pattern here. You can see spiders just chopping sideways and Q's just chopping sideways there. But that's okay. You know, for Home Depot, wide range bar, and it's just consolidating at the top here. So it may take a little while to get going, but so far it's looking good. USG. Why didn't it change? What's going on here? This thing's screwing up the platform. Oh, I bet you. I probably have to turn this off. I hate that. USG on the daily. Okay, so, but it's not looking good on the 5-minute. Not looking bad.
Oh yeah, I'm talking for the afternoon and or tonight.
Dan just woke up.
Nah, I was on the phone with the contractor.
They just talking.
Are you on Skype?
No. I can open it up.
Yeah, no, never mind. I was just looking at LL, but no, I'm not doing anything with it now.
All right, so USG, let's set an alert. Let's see, maybe tomorrow. Let the computer do the work for us. All right. I'm not going to stare at anything. It's far enough away. Not Telegram, Pat. It's like we can send out text messages. We were using WhatsApp for a while, but people could post in WhatsApp. So people were asking us questions, you know, about even their subscription or, you know, different things. And, you know, that's not the appropriate place. So in Telegram, the way we have it set up is we just send the message to you. You know, it's a text message, and that's it. The market's in a coma here, and so very difficult right now. Not difficult. Don't, you know, take difficult with nothing much really to do because things are going sideways. I don't find it difficult to sit there and decide not to take garbage trades. Sometimes it's difficult to take the good trades, meaning, you know, the market it looks like a zero, but a particular stock looks good. You know, so the market was questionable, but the S-Fly this morning looked great as a gap trade. And it produced, you know, a $2 gain quick. And that is what you want out of a gap trade. Sometimes they go further, you know, especially if the market is in alignment with it. And this Home Depot trade, we knew it did great a few days ago. And when I know, here's the chart over here, we know that it's this basing pattern at the 200, and, it looks good. So, and here's my 5-minute that tells me the trends in multiple time frames. And my shorter moving averages are pointing higher, which means those 2 time frames are in uptrends, but the 60-minute is flat. So it's okay. It's not great, but it should start to move up. So now as it's coming up to the high of the day, now I go into what I call intelligent hope mode. And that means I see you at the high of the day there. I know that there's sellers. I hope there aren't too many of you. I hope that you cannot destroy this pattern, because I'm going to hold on here. And if you kill it, that doesn't make me happy, but nothing I can do about it. So go ahead and do your selling, do your worst, and hopefully other buyers will come in. That could be a red bar ignored that just formed on the 5-minute. It turns it around, or it goes sideways there. Sellers lose confidence, and Home Depot goes higher. And in addition, maybe the market could get out of this stupor that it's in here and join in, and then it would be, everything would be firing on all cylinders. So even on looking at some things from the short side, the market's holding up here, and that doesn't support getting aggressive on the short side either. So, the whole theme of this week pretty much has been, but doesn't get above, that topping tail from a couple of weeks ago. We're down below the bottoming tail from last week. You're within this tightening range that is coming to an apex. Maybe it'll be next week. Maybe Trump is going to go to Korea, and they'll have dignitaries from China there, and Putin will show up, and they'll all take a sauna together and sing happy times, and, have a couple of drinks, and the world will be a better place. Stock markets will soar. Ha, ha, ha. You know what? If he pulls this thing off, he should get the Nobel Peace Prize, Pat. I think, I tell you, I still don't know what they gave Obama a Nobel Peace Prize for. I think that was just $1 million paycheck for who knows what. He did zero. As far as a true Nobel Peace Prize, come on. Maybe I didn't read enough about what was going on at the time, but I was scratching my head thinking, Peace Prize? What for? No, that's not true, Bill. He gave away free cell phones to people. He helped HMOs, right, with his Obamacare, where our insurance premiums went up 15%, 25%, 40%. You look at the stocks of United Healthcare and the rest of them. If you go into resources on the site and look at, I wrote an article about that, and when I showed all the stocks at that time to see what they did, even when it was like Aetna saying they're pulling out of it, right? They're pulling out of it. It's like, because they're losing so much money. Meanwhile, all the stocks are going up. You know what my doctor did, Pat? We were with him for a very long time. It took us 6 months to get in to be one of his regular clients many years ago. And, he was just like the regular kind of doctor, but he was good. You had to go there and, like the rest, if you only had to wait a half hour, that was a good one. And maybe it could be an hour. And what he decided to do was one of these services where you, besides your insurance, you pay every year for, to be his patient. And like a specialized thing, call it a VIP, whatever. They make, I guess that's concierge service. You make your appointment, you walk in there, you're not even sitting 5 minutes. And he spends all the time with you, whatever it needs him to do, and, poke all around and whatever your ailments are, and take care of you. Dan is leaving for the gym. I think he's trying to wear out the machines there. Yeah. Who knows what the answer is, what's going to happen here, but it's pretty ridiculous, especially, you hear that certain drugs that we pay for some astronomical prices, and, in other places, well, that they're cheap, but they're like ridiculously lower cost than here. And you think about all of the things that this country pays for, and whether you like Trump or not, you just have to look at it as like, well, why is America paying for everything at the United Nations or for this or that, and no one else is paying? It's like stupidity. And we have all these other presidents, and I'm not saying Democrats, they were the bad ones, or the Republicans. It was both. It's like organized mafia, all pointing the fingers at each other. Better than a mafia, I guess. Right. You think most of the rhetoric that they spew, they're all kind of got their hands in the same pockets, but keeping all the little people, confused and fighting with each other, keeping them from focusing on the real problems, them and government. Yeah. Yes. Why isn't Hillary in jail? That was looking good a couple of days ago, came all the way back in. CHK didn't make it out of the hole. Earnings after the bell. Let's take a look. CHK earnings are today. My platform just tells me the day they're going to report. You can check Yahoo. All right, guys, I have to run. I have to move these computers to another place. An appointment at 1. So I will be back a little after 2. We'll see if this market comes out of its stupor here. And we'll see which way things might go. All right. So I have to close this computer down, which is going to close the room. And, so when I come back on, just check it a little after 2 that it's reopened. Okay. We'll talk later.